Y'all ready? Here we go. Let's go. How many know that God will make it all right? No matter what you're going through, no matter what you've been through, He'll make it all right. Listen. When I'm down, can't see my way, I know that all I have to do is pray. He brought me out so many times before. I still believe He'll bring me out once more. All right,
He'll make it all right.
all right,
All right, He'll make it all right.
all right,
All right, He'll make it all right.
all right.
All right, He'll make it all right.
Jesus died just to set me free, left His throne above to save a wretch like me. And there's no food on the table, I still believe that my God is able. All right,
All right, He'll make it all right.
all right,
All right, He'll make it all right.
all right,
All right, He'll make it all right.
all right.
All right, He'll make it all right.
I've been through the fire, I've been through the rain, had my share of hard times, had my share of pain. I've been up and I've been down, but Jesus is the best friend that I've ever found. All right,
All right, He'll make it all right.
all right,
All right, He'll make it all right.
He'll make it all
All
right.
right, He'll make it
Yes,
all
He
right.
will. All right,
All right, He'll
He
make
will
it all
make it.
right.
He will make it all right. It's all right. All right. It's all right. Through the storm, through the rain, through your sickness, through your pain. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy is coming in the morning light. Don't you worry, don't you doubt. Know that Jesus will bring you out. Yeah, yeah. He will make it all right, all right. No matter what you're going through, all right. Can't pay your bill, gonna be all right. Pain in your body, gonna be all right. He's worthy of all the praise. My God is worthy of all the praise. It's all right, it's all right, it's all right. Let's go home. He will make it all right.
All right, He'll make it all right.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Happy Friday to you all. Hope all is well, man. Happy Friday. The weekend is pretty much here. You know, I know some of you guys got to go to work today. I'm working today, but the weekend's pretty much here, man. And I appreciate you guys pulling up. I hope you guys enjoyed the, opening track today. You know, that's Lipscomb University out of Oklahoma, if I'm not mistaken. For those that are trying to find out, you know, who the choir is, so forth and so on. That's who they are, Lipscomb. But I believe when this thing first opens up, if you catch it late, you know, it does say where these guys are, are located. But yeah, man, I appreciate you guys pulling up as always. Welcome back, ARP in the morning. We got a great show, man. We got a great show today. I wanted to do a call-in show today. I am going to drop the link for people to come in I still haven't quite yet figured out the professional way. I'm looking for some voice over IP so we can actually add that. That doesn't cost an arm and a leg. I did find one. They want to charge like 3 cents a minute. Like this is like 2001, for people to call in. So I got to figure out a way to have people, excuse me, to give people the ability to actually physically use their cell phones and call in, or home lines for those of you guys that still have home lines. I haven't had a home line in a long time, but I will drop the link today for anybody that would like to pull up. You do not have to be on camera, but you do have to, mute the stream in the background so we don't have any overlay or anything like that. But we'll drop that at the end. I appreciate you all pulling up this morning. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button for me. Let me show some love to those in the chat real fast. Shout out to Scott Jung. Shout out to Brian M. Yes, sir. TGI Friday. Shout out to PK Krillin. Appreciate you pulling up. Savannah, Tennessee in the building. What's up, Marianne? How you doing this morning? Daniel Harper. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Thank you very much. Shout out to my guy, Gerard Caswell, Springfield, Missouri in the building. Shout out to him for the $5 super chat, kicking things off. I trust in, rely on, and am confident in you, O Lord. I say, you are my God. My times are in your hands. Psalms chapter 31, verse 14 and 15. May God shine on you today. Yes, Lord, man. I like that. He always starts us off with a nice Bible verse to get things kicked off, man. God bless you, Gerard, man. I appreciate the support. Shout out to Gerard Coswell for the ARP family membership gift. If you are the individual that received that gift, I don't have anything to do with that. But if you are the one that received it, make sure you show Gerard some love for gifting you the ARP membership, man. Appreciate you supporting the channel, man. I definitely do. Thank you very much. What up, Thea Flies High? Roscoe, New York in the building. Shout out to you all. Thank you very much, as always. Redefine Queen, what's up with you, sister? What's up, Vanessa? How you doing this morning, sister? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Thank you very much. Yeah, we got a Marylander in the building. If I'm not mistaken, I think you're in the PG County area. If I recall, I believe you said Clinton the last time you was on the stream. I believe it was Clinton, Maryland, which isn't too far away from where I am. Obviously, I'm on the Baltimore side of things, but still not that far. This state's so small. You can be in and out of this place in, 2 hours, hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on how the traffic is anyway. Shout out to Cindy from Florida. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Shannon Hawkins says she wished she could sing. Hey, we all have our gifts. We all have our gifts, but I appreciate you all pulling up this morning. Thank you very much. I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. We're going to cut down on the shout outs. I mean, them things, man, they were getting up to a point to where it was like 15 minutes before we even got the show started. And, that could be, people were getting a little frustrated behind that. But Bon Aqua, I'm not sure where that is, but shout out to you, fam, Laurie K. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Yeah, we got New Orleans in the building, Portsmouth in the building. Shout out. What's up, Dr. Silla? How you doing this morning? Appreciate. Is it Dr. Kyla? Is that how you say that? Kyla? Sorry about that. Appreciate you pulling up this morning, as always. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All righty. Let's get the show started. Like I said, we got a lot to get into. We're going to talk a lot. We're going to talk about Bill Burr. We're going to talk about the Department of Education being shut down. We're going to talk about, I don't know if you guys heard, that DoorDash is now they're partnering with Klarna. We're going to talk about that today. We got a lot going on. Spooks J says, like the shout outs, it shows that you notice this. Absolutely. I definitely notice, those that pull up, and I like showing love to you guys, man. I don't know how much you guys know about doing this, and it's been a blessing to have this channel and to be able to, converse with you guys on a day-to-day basis. But when I'm not live, there is no interaction until I actually shoot the video and put it out. Then I get some interaction after the fact. So I actually really, really appreciate this time, because this is the one opportunity that I get to have some direct contact communication with the people that support the channel. So I really, really appreciate you guys pulling up, but I also like to show you guys some love as well. Shout out to Chop for the $5 super chat. He says, happy Friday, y'all. God bless. Appreciate you, brother. God bless you as well. Thank you for supporting the channel this morning with the $5 super chat. As I always say, super chats will stop the show. Super thanks will stop the show. Anybody that joins or gifts an ARP family membership will stop the show. Anybody with an ARP family membership, I believe it's over a month, that will stop the show as well. Appreciate you guys pulling up as always. I definitely appreciate the support. And I appreciate you guys, loving on me, man. But it's that happy median, right? Because you have some people that are like, man, it was 15 minutes of shout outs today before you even got the show started. And then you have others that are like, hey, I really like the shout outs, because we appreciate that. So it's trying to find a happy median for everybody, but I also understand you can't make everybody happy. You can't. What up, RJ Hudson? What's up with you, brother? Appreciate you pulling up this morning, as always. What's up, Marla? How you doing this morning? Thank you very much. Appreciate you all pulling up this morning. What up, Diane? Pittsburgh in the building. Yeah. Let's go. All right, we're going to get things kicked off, man. Like I said, the other way that you can support the channel, obviously, is, there's a link in the description box. You can buy your man a coffee. We appreciate that as well. We appreciate everybody that supports the channel in every shape, way, form, or fashion. The number one way to support the channel, obviously, is to hit that like button, share the stream, and shout out to those that are on Instagram watching. Shout out to those that are on X watching. We appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys supporting the channel. In that way, we're slowly but surely trying to build up things on the Instagram platform as well as the X platform. It's a process. But shout out to who said they pulled up from Australia today. Oh, Setarita says she let me show her some love real quick. So finally catching you live from Sydney, Australia. Keep up the good work, mate. Love the show, MAGA baby. Shout out to you, man. Salute. Australia in the building. What's up? What is going on? All right. So let's do a quick, we're gonna get the show started. We're on 12 minutes in. We're gonna get the show started. I keep saying that. But shout out wise, we got a good amount of people that say they really enjoy it. They don't mind it. We have others that say that they don't. Let me know what your thoughts are in the chat, if you mind the shout outs. What I am going to have to do, yes, Nina, I am live on IG right now. Absolutely. And shout out to you, Brooklyn in the building. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Thank you. Thank you. Chop says it's almost Saturday in Australia. Yeah, I know they're ahead of us. They're what are you guys, 13 hours ahead of us or 11, 12 hours ahead of us or something along those lines? Oh, yeah. All right. Actually, if that's the case, then it should be Saturday. Is that right? No. It'd be 9 something in the evening. Friday evening. What's up, C. Burgie from Indiana? Patrice McInnes from Louisiana. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Money Mike says, you are right, sir. Bill Burr is woke because he is controlled by his wife. You are right, sir. I would agree with you. You get no you get no argument from me on that. We got Bahamas in the building. Oh, that's what's up, man. All right, so people like the shout outs. What's up, Mark? How you doing today, brother? Appreciate you pulling up. You always checking on me, man. So I really, really appreciate you, man. I definitely appreciate that. Nashville in the building. And I want to show some love, man. My cousin passed away about 2 weeks ago. He's from Nashville. He's Nashville police. Mark, I don't know. I'm sure it was in the paper out there. My cousin passed away and his service is happening. He's a little older than I am, but 20 some odd years, in the Nashville Police Department, out there, and tragically passed away, just unexpectedly passed away about 2 weeks ago. They're having a service. And, I just want to show him some love because he was, supporter of the channel, supporting, me from a distance. And, I just want to show him some love, man. Lieutenant Anthony McClain, shout out to you, man. Rest in peace. The family loves you. It's awful, man, that happened. And he's a young man, in his 50s. And, it's just unfortunate, so I want to make sure I show him some love, and just let him know that, we're definitely thinking of him and we'll definitely keep him, lifted up, and keep his family lifted up in prayer as well. He's former military Air Force guy. So is he has a son. One of his oldest sons is currently in the Army right now, and service members. I come from a long line of people that serve this country. Long line of people that serve this nation. But thank you guys, man. I appreciate that. Let's get the show kicked off. Like I said, hit the like button, if you haven't done so already. But let's get things kicked off.
We take a very historic action that was 45 years in the making. In a few moments, I will sign an executive order to begin eliminating the Federal Department of Education once and for all. And it sounds strange, doesn't it? Department of Education, we're going to eliminate it. And everybody knows it's right. And the Democrats know it's right, and I hope they're going to be voting for it, because ultimately it may come before them. But everybody knows it's right, and we have to get our children educated. We're not doing well with the world of education in this country, and we haven't for a long time.
Before we get things going, man, shout out to you, Chop, for the $10 super chat. My deepest condolences to you and your family. God will watch over him, and he will watch over you and your family. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. For real. So, yesterday, I'm sure you guys had a chance to see it and hear about it and read about it. For those of you guys that still read the news, I read the news. And I really need to start talking about it a little more, but I definitely read the news. But Trump officially signed an executive order yesterday to dismantle the Department of Education, and the Democrats are melting down over this. And for the life of me, I don't really understand why. But then again, they're willing to fight and die on a plethora of hills right now, unfortunately. But for years, this daggone bloated federal agency has done almost nothing to help students succeed. And now that someone's finally doing something about it, the left is throwing tantrums. And let's be honest here. Since the Department of Education was founded in the late 1970s, we've poured over $3 trillion into it. $3 trillion into it. And you think with that type of money, America would be leading the world in education, right? If you thought that was the case, you're dead wrong, because our kids are struggling. Test scores are in the gutter, reading levels down, math scores down. 70% of 8th graders aren't proficient in math. 40% lack basic reading skills. Science scores a complete mess, all while the education department's budget has increased 600%. We're spending more per student than almost any country on earth, and we're still falling behind. I mean, just think about it, man. Just think about it for a second. American students can't read or do basic math. We've all seen the stories. Students graduating without being able to read at middle school level. Parents desperately, trying to get their kids into charter schools or better districts, while Democrats fight to keep them trapped in these piss poor schools. Ben Crump came down here to Baltimore. For my people in Maryland, Ben Crump, I'm sure you guys heard the story. Ben Crump came down here to Baltimore. There was a young man that was slated to graduate high school. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it was last year. And this young man couldn't write his name. 18, in the 12th grade, a senior, they graduated a kid that could not write his name. This is what's going on in the United States of America when it comes to education. We know what happened, when the shutdowns came about. The shutdowns made everything worse. The reality of it is, in my opinion, this is my opinion, when the shutdowns happened, every kid should have been set back at least 1 year. If they did not attend school, they should have been held back at least 1 year. But they didn't do that. They just pushed the kids through to get ready for the next wave of kids, which is ridiculous. I mean, it's awful, man. It is awful what is going on and what has happened. Because these people decided to shut schools down for a year and a half. The private schools, for the most part, stayed open and they accepted kids. But public schools, for the most part, shut down for a year and a half. And they just pushed kids through. And the crazy thing is that, I know you guys recall, but some of these kids, they wasn't even doing the work. So you literally had a kid graduate high school that couldn't write his name. That is insanity. It's crazy. I mean, the teachers' unions are as crooked and corrupt. Oh my goodness, man. The teachers' union, led by people like Randy Weingarten, fought tooth and nail to keep schools closed, even when we knew remote learning was devastating kids. We knew it wasn't working, and they fought tooth and nail to keep these daggone schools closed. They don't care about the children. They do not care about these kids, man.
COVID was a terrible time for us. And as you know, because I was on your show a lot and other shows, I wanted schools to be reopened as early as April of 2020. The issue was the fear and the issue was the safety issues. But COVID has really hurt in so many ways. But this has been a Republican talking point for a long time. And COVID was a terrible time for us. And
what's up, Louise? How you doing this morning, sister? Appreciate you pulling up. I hope that you are subscribed to the channel, supporting, one of your Baltimore brethren. I hope so. But I tell you, man, the way they handle the shutdowns are, just awful. And the gaslighting with this one is unreal. I mean, these fake crocodile tears of the Department of Education's demise, I mean, it's a pathetic spectacle. Proof that union bosses and unelected bureaucrats are quaking. They're quaking in their boots because they realize that the stranglehold that they've had, on our kids, it's crumbling right before their eyes. We've seen under, Weingarten's union reign, teacher strikes soared over 50%, but student outcomes tanked. So when President Trump issues an executive order to begin breaking up this failed institution, the left goes into full panic mode. But I want to know, why defend failure? Why? Why defend failure? Democrats are now claiming that this is an attack on poor kids and that it's about hurting public schools. They claim that Republicans want to privatize education and force religion into classrooms, but completely ignore that many of their own children attend private schools. I would assume that majority of the politicians send their kids to private schools. Majority. While they leave everyone else to rot, in these public schools that they refuse to fix. I mean, take this heated exchange right here, on Fox News. Jess Tarloff tried to claim that Republicans, they just want to destroy education and push Trump Bibles into classrooms. But Judge Jeanine Pirro, she wasn't having it at all. She shut it down fast. This right here this was a great clip right here. Check this out.
There are Republicans out there talking about their plan for education in America. I don't hear them talking about making sure disabled kids have access to a public education. I don't hear them talking about impoverished
Because we're against
kids.
it.
I know you are. Thank you for admitting it on such a public forum. They want to end up privatizing it. They want a voucher system, which means that kids who can't get to those schools, don't have enough money to, or frankly want to go to public schools, won't have access. And they also have all of these religious kooks, like the superintendent of Oklahoma who wants to spend millions of dollars on Bibles for the schools, Trump Bibles, because it's all a grift. They want to make it private. They want to make them religious institutions. And that goes against what you're supposed to do in America. So does it need reform? Does it need to be made better? 100%. But come on.
All the Democrat politicians,
let me tell you
Janine, send
something.
their
You tell
kids
me.
to
Yeah,
private
I am
schools.
going to tell you.
All right,
Number one,
I'm ready.
Number one, we are one nation under God, and don't make a joke about that.
Do you think there should be Trump Bibles in public schools?
Number two is the issue that the Department of Education has wasted $100 billion a year. So cut the crap. You yourself admit they don't do any education. Now, you say that Trump is not dismantling. He's already dismantled with Doge. And let me make one thing also clear. Department of Education was created by an executive order by Jimmy Carter as a payback to the unions. Subsequently, Congress came in and created it, and we're going to end it the same way with an executive order dismantling it, subsequently finished by a decision by Congress. Now, let's be real clear. All of these issues as it relates to Pell Grants, special needs, all that stuff is being moved to different departments within Washington. They are not being eliminated, and don't make it sound like these kids are being forgotten, because they're not. But if you want to talk about no child left behind, if that's what the Democrat liberals believe in, that screwed us up, screwed our kids more than anything, because no kid left behind made sure that every kid passed. And now we've got kids who can't even read at 8th grade level because they were passed. We have a 19-year-old who graduated with honors who can't read proficiently. All of this Democrat nonsense labelism is for the birds. And let me tell you one more thing. The Constitution does not guarantee an education. It is not a federal right. It is not a federal issue. It is something that, under the 10th Amendment to the Constitution, is left to the states. The state constitutions have provisions where you have a right to education. But this is something that is for parents and for educators, for teachers that we do love. We don't love Randi Weingarten and what she did to our kids when she couldn't find one metric in the billions of dollars that we gave her to open the schools to make it safe enough for her and her pals to go to open up those schools. You know what, Randy? Go back to Ukraine for the third time to try to figure out what they're doing in education. And let me tell you one more thing. I'm not done.
One more thing.
One more thing is these kids in China and in Russia that were studying quantum physics while our kids were hiding and doing drugs and alcohol, and the kids in Norway and Denmark and Sweden. We spend more money per kid than any country in the world, and we're losing because of the Democrats. And that's the end of that.
Judge Janine is spot on. And you know what, Aquila? I got to give you some love here. I got to give you some shine. She says that the ARP, they are against the Bible, yet they fight for nasty books and sick people dressed provocatively, pushing sick mind, messing stuff on our kids. It's madness. And you're absolutely right. And we also found out that the Department of Education, they had tons of grants and money being spent on pushing this type of propaganda and ideology in the public schools on our children. I talked to somebody at the gym about a week ago that said that this is an individual that, they said they worked at the school in Baltimore City, said that the teacher's primary job isn't to educate the students. The teacher's primary job is to make sure that the children have a safe space at school. That's out of a quote-unquote educator's mouth. That's out of quote-unquote educator's mouth. Shout out to Kenny G, man. Appreciate you pulling up this morning, brother. A so-called educator said that the primary job of a teacher is not to educate, but to make sure that these children have a safe space at school. You can't make it up, man. You can't make it up. I mean, these people, I don't know if you guys are on X, but if you watch any of the footage that's going on at these schools, I mean, when they say the school to prison pipeline, it is real. I mean, these kids are in there brawling. Public school it's terrible. And you're absolutely right. Uneducated people are easier to control. You are 1000% right there. And I think this is by design. The dumbing down of society, the dumbing down of America. The dumbing down of America it's something that they've been doing for a long time. Because when you think about this, man, if we have kids graduating school that can't read or that can barely read. Judge Janine said there was a kid that graduated with honors but couldn't read. Like, what are we doing here, man? What are we doing? I mean, a lot of these public schools, man, it is a fight club in that joint. I don't see how any of these kids are being educated because you're in there like it's prison. You know, hey, it's mob rule. I mean, it is a mess, man. Judge Janine was spot on in everything that she said. Everything that she said. And to be honest with you, man, we could probably use some God in these schools. We could use some Bible teaching in these schools. Maybe it would help calm these kids down. Shout out to Chop for the $5 super chat. It says here that it's a daycare for kids from 5 to 18. This is on purpose. They want to control us. They can't do anything with educated people. And you are absolutely right, sir. But at the same time, it tells you that in the word of God, it says my people perish for lack of knowledge. So if they can dumb down the population to the point that they can't read, that they have zero interest in reading, they literally can pass anything. Think about this, man. And I don't want to beat a dead horse. And we got to keep going with the show. I don't want to beat a dead horse. But we literally have people in this country advocating for slavery in this nation. So they can, quote unquote, keep the fruits and berries cheap in this country. You literally have politicians telling you, leave them down south because they got to pick the crops. Nancy Pelosi. Jasmine Crash Out Crockett, she has said it. Who's going to build the houses? Do y'all want home prices to go up? I mean, these are the kind of conversations that were being had prior to the Emancipation Proclamation. These are the kind of conversations that they were having. And it's happening again. And the thing is that if you don't read, if you won't educate yourself, and you're unfamiliar with history, it is doomed and bound to repeat itself. Simple as that. Simple as that, man. And when you have kids, you know, in certain cities where the valedictorian has like a 2.2, 2.4 grade point average, this is real. Valedictorians in Baltimore City schools, I don't think any of them had a 3.0 that was public school or higher. I mean, it's crazy. So yes, Judge Janine was spot on in everything that she said. The Department of Education spends hundreds of billions of dollars a year and has absolutely nothing to show for it. It wasn't, created through Congress initially anyway. It was an executive move by Carter to appease unions. So yes, Trump can start dismantling it the same way that it was brought in. And the 10th Amendment of the Constitution, it doesn't give the federal government authority over education. And to be honest with you, we shouldn't even want the federal government in control of education. It hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. This is a state issue. It's supposed to be a state issue. And if the state systems are failing, let the states compete to improve it, not force a top-down federal mandate upon them. You look at Florida right now. You look at Florida when they opened up school choice and allowed people to choose charters wherever they want to send their kids. When you start to looking at, in the black population in the United States of America, those kids in the state of Florida have some of the highest test scores in the country. They're actually being educated. They're actually being educated. What up, one choice at a time? What up? Trump's executive order is aimed at restructuring and dismantling the department, giving more power back to the states when it comes to education. And now he can't eliminate it completely without Congress, since it was established by legislation, but he can fire useless bureaucrats, slash bloated budgets, and start returning power to the states. The federal government has zero business in the micromanaging of classrooms across 50 diverse states. It just doesn't. Education should be local, point blank, period. And this might sound a little harsh, but let's be real. A poorly educated population is easier to control. A poorly educated population of people is easier to control. Those are the people that will hear, hey, we gotta tax the wealthy people more than they're already being taxed. And they gotta give it to us because we don't have anything and we don't plan on working towards anything. Not realizing that these people are already paying the bulk of share of the taxes. The top earners in the country pay majority of the taxes. But if they can dumb you down, you wouldn't know any better. Last time I checked, poor people that don't make money, they're not paying taxes like that. But these are the same people that are saying we need to tax more people. We need to tax the people that actually do work their tails off. The people that are willing to go and put that 40, 50, 60-hour work week in. Those people that are willing to, risk their homes, put their money where their mouth is and go start a business and it blows up. Hey, I know we wasn't there when you took the risk, but now that you've taken the risk and you are successful, you need to pay us back. And I'm not one of those kind of people that don't think that we should give and help and support, the less fortunate. I don't believe that. I definitely believe that if you have been blessed, you have an obligation. You have an obligation to go and bless others. But it says in the word that God loves a cheerful giver. So if you're being forced to do so, you're actually blocking the blessings of those that actually want to do it the right way. I just don't understand it. But this, to me, it seems like it is all by design because a uneducated population is easier to control. People who can't read well are less likely to challenge what they're told. People who can't read well are less likely to challenge what they're told. They're less likely to become critical thinkers. They're less likely to do so. Think about it. That's why in school today, they're not teaching kids how to think critically. There's no debate. There's no, you have a point of view and give me some, some fact, data, and statistics to back up whatever your point is. There's none of that happening in schools. There's none of that happening in schools. They don't want people that think critically, because when you start thinking critically and you start doing the research and reading for yourself, once you see it, you can't unsee it. And then you'll start fighting back. You'll start pushing back. So they don't want a well-read population of people. They want people that don't know much, that don't want to know much, that will listen and believe everything that they're told. And when they put out something, these same people, they won't understand the policy. And a lot of them, they won't read past the headline. That's why, have you noticed, if you go to any of these, newspaper sites, the headline is really big. More times than not, it's wrong, it's a lie, or it's a half truth. And then people will go and talk about it like it's real. They didn't even read the daggone article, have zero interest in reading the article. They just read the false headline or the half-true headline, and the next thing you know, they're going to tell everybody, they're doing this, this is happening. And to be honest with you, man, I believe that the Democrats like it that way, but I also believe that some of the rhinos, they enjoy it. They enjoy that as well. If you're educated, if you read, if you can think for yourself, you might notice what they're doing to your taxes, to your freedom, to your children. You might notice that. So, of course, they're fighting tooth and nail to keep the current system in place. They're doing everything that they can to keep the current system in place. They need a population that is dumbed down. As they usher in, because we know that's what they want to do, they want to usher in this quote unquote one world government. And they're going to usher it in like it's a great thing for everybody. But they don't want you to read what's actually happening. And then people accept it and they have no idea what they've accepted. Caroline Leavitt, press secretary, she said it best. They're all crying over dismantling the Department of Education, but where was the outrage when test scores collapsed? Where was that outrage? I don't recall hearing any of these people discuss how bad the test scores were. All these people that are out here, complaining and fighting, upset that they're dismantling this piss poor of a department, none of them talked about how bad the daggone test scores were.
Critics of the president's education plan.
Where was their criticism of our nation's failing test scores for the last several decades? The Department of Education was founded in the 1970s, and since then we have spent more than $3 trillion at this federal bureaucracy. What has been the return on that investment for the American taxpayer? Levels that are less than ideal, less than proficient. Our children's test scores are incredibly concerning when it comes to reading rates, literacy rates, math, and science test scores. The numbers prove that, and this president is finally taking much needed action to return education to where it belongs, and that's to educators closest to students in their classrooms in their respective states. We're going to have a great event here later at 4 o'clock. There will be students here, teachers here, parents here, educators, and of course governors from around the country who are very excited about taking on this responsibility to educate our nation's students.
Oh yeah. The bottom line, man, is that education belongs to the people, not the federal government. We should, be giving money to back the states, but letting parents decide, introducing school choice, holding schools accountable, putting students, not the system, first. This isn't about hurting kids, man. It's about saving them. Seriously. Now, I will say this. We need parents to get more involved in the school system. You should know your kids should not get to 12th grade and you don't know that they can't write their name. Seriously. You should be identifying these problems, but if you're on top of things like you're supposed to, and you're on top of things, you would have known this 5, 6, 7 years ago, and you would have solved said problem. So we need parents to take some accountability for their life and their children's life and stop looking to the government to save them and their children, to educate them wholly and their children. Parents got to take some responsibility in this as well. The government provides some facilities, but parents have to take some accountability. Seriously. Shout out to David Somerset for the $4.99 super chat. He says that if schools talk about free black men that fought for America, like Salem Poor and Crispus Attucks, there may be more pride in America. David, you have a point there. You have a solid point there. Now, when I was in school, I learned about Salem Poor. I also learned about Crispus Attucks. I'm very familiar, with Crispus Attucks, and Salem Poor. I would also go a step further. I would also say that they need to really dive in, to more about Frederick Douglass, more about Booker T. Washington, and some of the things things that he wanted to implement. We're talking about a man who, started off as a slave, ended up building Tuskegee, talked about, creating trades and things of that nature, starting businesses and assimilating that way. Him and W.E.B. Du Bois were, I won't say they were, arch enemies, but they did not agree. Their policies and, ideology were on total opposite ends of the spectrum. A lot of people took the side of W.E.B. Du Bois, but I think when you look back at it, Booker T. Washington's ideas were way better and would have fared better, not only for black people in this country, but I think for, everybody in America. And I don't know if we would be in this situation today, that we are in, had people took the ideas of a Booker T. Washington and implemented them in their lives. Because he was not about victimhood. He was not about handouts. He was about working and obtaining the skills that are needed to offer the services and products that people needed in this country. That's just my opinion. More Frederick Douglass, more Booker T. Washington, less W.E.B. Du Bois, and this may shock some of you guys, less MLK, to be honest with you. I think people need to do a little deep dive on who MLK is and what he was. A lot of you guys may or may not know this, but, MLK was the first recipient of the Margaret Sanger Planned Parenthood Award. For the life of me, I don't understand why a guy like this would be in bed with Planned Parenthood. I don't. But he was, and you can go look this up. You can go look it up for yourself. Martin Luther King, along with Lyndon Baines Johnson and a few others, they were the first recipients of the Margaret Sanger Award from Planned Parenthood. Go look it up for yourself. I'm not going to jump into that. We did it. We actually did a show on that about a year ago, talking about Martin Luther King. But he definitely is not and was not who a lot of people think he is or was. Just keeping it a buck. But yeah, and David, you're right there. You're right there. When you get into his I guess his diary or memos and things of that nature that he wrote. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna leave that there. That today we don't have enough time to go down that daggone rabbit hole. But if you guys really want to learn about him, go check out Vince Everett Ellison's documentary, Will You Go to Hell For Me? He does a deep dive. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Chad O. Jackson is actually doing a documentary on him as well, on Martin Luther King and who he is and who he was. You should check that out. I actually did a video on it, Kenny G. I did a video. It's on Rumble. If you go to my Rumble page, I'm not super active on Rumble, but that video is on Rumble where we discuss, Will You Go to Hell For Me? And we have a real good conversation about Martin Luther King, who he is, who he was, so forth and so on. But yeah, if you go to Rumble, it's the same name, A Righteous Perspective on Rumble. You'll see it there. It's there. It's there. But again, back to the subject at hand. But yeah, and shout out to David for the super chat, man. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you supporting the channel. But Trump's thrown down the gauntlet, man. He's thrown down the gauntlet. He has. And now it's up to congressional Republicans to follow through. No more empty promises. This is their moment right here. Seriously, this is their moment. Now, we've been talking about school choice being the civil rights issue of our time. Well, now it's time to act like it. Seriously, it's time to act like it. Push the legislation and end the department completely. Put the future of the education back where it belongs, which is in the hands of parents, teachers, and local leaders. Because if our kids are falling behind, that means that America is falling behind. And they need to do it and do it fast. Because you already know that there's some woke activist judge who's going to jump in and try to block this. You already know it. I mean, it's become, basically a default strategy for unelected judges stepping in to override the will of the people and the actions of a duly elected president. So, yeah, they need to jump on this quickly. They do. But, sometimes, rarely do they get this right. Rarely, very rarely, they do get something right. And in this case, the law was so ridiculous that honestly, maybe they were, I guess, just trying to save face. I don't see how they could have justified this one. And what I'm talking about here is I'm talking about New York City, the voting law that allowed non-citizens to vote. I mean, this is insanity. New York City, man, I don't know what's going on up there, man, but they literally had it out there to allow non-citizens to vote.
Breaking news, New York's top court striking down a New York City law that would have left non-citizens vote in municipal elections. Jenna DeAngelis is means for the city. Jenna.
Cindy, it's estimated the city law would have given more than 800,000.
New York City. Now to breaking news, New York's top court striking down a New York City law that would have left non-citizens vote in municipal elections. Jenna DeAngelis is live in the newsroom with more on this and what it means for the city. Jenna.
Cindy, it's estimated the city law would have given more than 800,000 people the opportunity to vote in local elections such as mayor, public advocate, borough president, and city council. But the 6-1 decision by the Court of Appeals issued today stops that from happening. The opinion states, whatever the future may bring, the New York Constitution as it stands today draws a firm line restricting voting to citizens. The legislation passed in the City Council in 2021 gave municipal voting rights to non-citizens who have been lawful permanent residents of the city for at least 30 days, along with those authorized to work in the U.S. The law took effect in January 2022 after Mayor Adams took office, but it was then challenged by Republicans led by Staten Island Borough President Vito Fossella with a lawsuit arguing the law violated the New York State Constitution. The state's highest court ultimately siding with those challengers. In a statement, Fossella writing, "This is a victory for common sense and the sanctity and security of our franchise, the right to vote as American citizens. We are pleased that this matter can finally be put to rest once and for all." The city law department also released a statement saying the highest court in New York State has spoken. We respect the court's ruling, but I'm sure we'll continue to hear reaction from both sides on this today. Cindy.
Thank you, Jenna.
So, yesterday, New York's highest court struck down the law that would have allowed over 800,000 non-citizens an opportunity to vote in New York City. 800,000. The court rejected the Democrats' argument 6-1, saying that voting is a right reserved for United States citizens only. That shouldn't be a shocker, but they were shocked by this outcome. And regardless, this is a big win. This is a big win. Not only for the country, but for the city of New York, for New York State. But the problems is that other cities are still a daggone mess, including New York, because of this whole migrant situation, which brings me to what just went down out in Boston. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see this, but Mayor Michelle Wu, one of the most radically far left progressive mayors in the country, just got up on stage and made it loud and clear that illegal immigrants, they get the red carpet treatment. Veterans, taxpayers, good luck to you. You own your own. We are supporting illegal immigrants over everybody. I don't understand how this lady continues, or I don't know why they're going to continue supporting this lady. Seriously, I don't. But the people up in Boston, man, they got to do something and get this crazy lady up out of office.
We stand with immigrants. You belong here. Somos una ciudad de inmigrantes. Boston doesn't back down. We are a city where the Irish coffee is strong and our opinions are stronger. We may not always agree or see eye to eye, but at the end of the day, we are a family. If you come for one of us, you will get all of us.
You belong here. That's what she said. Quincy James said this woman's a CCP plant. Highly probable. Highly probable. This lady comes out here and says that you belong here. That's what she says while Boston residents foot the bill and watch their neighborhoods go downhill. Nobody's coming for legal immigrants. Everybody is going after illegal immigrants, those who shouldn't even be here in the first place, those who broke the law to get here. Wu and her team will tell you that Boston is the safest city in America. That's what they'll say, because the data doesn't lie. But crime's been on the rise over the past few years. But they keep telling yourself that all is fine while the city spends millions to house and support people who aren't even here illegally. And let's talk about the numbers real fast. Before I get into that real quick, shout out to Red Bucks for the $3.99 super sticker. Appreciate you supporting the channel. Thank you very much. But Massachusetts is burning through its budget right now. And it's hard not to see why. Shelter space, completely full. Social services, overloaded. In the state's Medicaid system, it's stretched to the brink. So while they claim to be the party of compassion, let's call it what it is. These people are just completely irresponsible. And you can have whatever opinion you want about this, but blocking ICE from finding and detaining criminals, as these mayors are doing, that is a full-fledged violation of federal law. Simple as that.
Breaking news, New York's top
believe that banning the transfer of individuals into ICE custody for the purpose of civil immigration enforcement encourages illegal immigration into Chicago? Or how about agencies, or agents not being able to stop, arrest, or detain individuals based solely on their immigration status or administrative warrant?
So we comply with all laws, local, state, and federal.
To me, after this line of questioning, it's very clear that these policies that you have all implicated are active and alive and well in your cities, are in direct violation with U.S. Title 8 Code subsection 1324, and it is a federal offense. But you all speak about a broken immigration system, and yet here you guys are aiding and abetting in that entire process. I want to be very clear about something. Open border policies, which is something that you guys are talking about, hurts people on both sides, meaning the people that are coming here illegally and then American citizens as well. I do not think you guys are bad people, but I think that you are ideologically misled, which is why, unfortunately, based on your responses, I'm all going to be criminally referring you to the Department of Justice for investigation. And as soon as I leave here, these will be going over to Pam Bondi. I'm not doing that in an effort to bully you guys, but I do believe that your policies are hurting the American people, and you can make that known with the evidence that you can present to the Department of Justice. But if you guys continue doing what you're doing, you're not going to help anyone. You're going to hurt more people, and that's exactly why I'm tired of it. The American people are tired of it. And Chairman, I yield my time.
Would you yield your last minute?
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Luis McNeil for the $9.99 super sticker. Thank you very much, Luis. God bless you. Appreciate the support. Thank you. Oh, man, I tell you, there's got to be many ways to refer and prosecute since these sanctuary cities and states have allowed this to exist for so long. But only time will tell if the Republicans actually follow through on this. I'm not sure, what the holdup is, but there's got to be some consequences or some sort of consequence for these woke politicians who put illegals over their own citizens. I mean, in California, it's the same thing. California has spent billions of dollars on health care for illegal immigrants with over 1 million or, I think, close to 2 receiving free medical care on the taxpayer's dime. I mean, it is outrageous what is going on right now. It really is.
The Medicaid situation right now, is there anything you can share about just the undocumented healthcare expansion and how that's contributing to what's happening right now?
That's partial. We've seen in Pennsylvania, Colorado, Indiana, that don't have that expansion. They had even more sizable supplementals into their Medicaid system. This was something we previewed in the January budget, something that I previewed in separate conversations with other governors. It was highlighted actually in December at the Democratic Governors Association as an issue we were seeing all across the country. So all of that is exactly as we advertised in January. We're working through that. The good news, you've seen the revenues in the state we're collecting are above projections. The economy continues to be remarkably resilient.
Okay, so illegal immigration is only partially responsible for the Medi-Cal funding problems. I got it. Okay. So why is Newsom requesting a $3.4 billion loan because California's healthcare program is going bankrupt? You got to ask yourself these questions. I mean, all they do, I don't understand why people continue to support these folks. But, as you can see here, it says that California is spending $9.5 billion on free health care for undocumented immigrants this year. Newsom says that he believes in universal health care, which is whatever. I don't necessarily agree with it, but whatever. But who the heck is going to pay for it? At least Trump's policies seem to be working. New border numbers are in, and, what they show, let's take a quick look at it real fast. But, man, I just don't understand how they think that this is sustainable. I really don't. How do they think that, paying for and allowing these people to continue to come over here and completely taking care of these people, how do they think this is sustainable? Over 132,000 less migrants encountered at the border in February compared to February of 2024, which turns out, is that all we needed was a new president. And when it comes to the Darien Gap, 408 crossings through one of the most dangerous areas in the world in February compared to over 37,000 in February of 2024. I mean, it's a no-brainer, in my opinion.
It is one of the most dangerous, treacherous stretches of landscape to get to this country, the Darien Gap. Many people die along the trail there. There were 408 crossings through there last month. Now, there are ways to go around it, but can you even imagine? If we know that number of how many came through, how many didn't make it? That's a massive drop from August 2023. You ready for this? 82,000. If 408 still sounds like a lot because many of them are children who are being carried, we know that from the reporting that's gone on. 82,000? How many people died trying to get here? I mean, this is huge evidence against the Biden-Harris administration that they weren't just derelict in their duties. They were deadly dangerous. I want to go now to Brooke Taylor, who's live in Dallas, Texas, with more on this. Brooke.
Hi, Harris. Well, DHS and ICE leaders say that right now, just in the first 50 days as President Trump was under office, they say that these top officials say that they're dealing with a massive problem because of this. Detention facilities are at full capacity, maxed out with 47,600 detainees because, as you just mentioned there, they're outpacing those arrest numbers that we saw under the Biden administration. So senior officials say that they're working with the Defense Department for more bed space, but they would also need more funding from Congress, as we see going on right now. The senior DHS and ICE officials also giving us new arrest numbers, as you mentioned. Check this out. During President Trump's first 50 days in office, ICE arrested roughly 32,800 illegal aliens. Of those arrests, senior leaders say around 14,000 were convicted criminals. Nearly 10,000 have pending criminal charges, and the remaining were in the United States illegally.
Again, so I keep asking, myself this anyway. I keep asking myself this. And shout out to Zephyr K9. She gifted 5 ARP family memberships. Thank you, Zephyr. Appreciate you pulling up this morning, as always. Thank you very much. Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody else real fast. All right, perfect. Why couldn't Biden do this? Why couldn't he do it? Why? Fewer crossings mean fewer children being trafficked, fewer women being assaulted, less fentanyl, destroying our communities, less cartel money, fewer known terrorists slipping through our border. So again, I ask you, why couldn't the Biden-Harris administration do this? I mean, we've got a broken immigration system, wide open border, and leadership in blue cities that prioritize political stunts over public safety. I mean, it's time to ask, who's this country really for? Who is this country really for, in their opinion? Is it for the people who built it, fought for it, and currently pay for it? Or the people who break the law to get here and they get rewarded for doing so? I mean, it is crazy what the heck is going on here, man. It really is. It is a mess. It really is. We got a lot more to get into, but in the middle of this, in the middle of all of this, we got a special guest joining the show today. Hopefully she is ready to go. We'll check. Hopefully her audio and all that kind of good stuff is squared away. Let me bring her in real fast. What's going on, Miss Epiphany? How you doing today?
Hi, Miss Brother Wise. I am doing great, and I thank you for having me.
Oh, not a problem. Not a problem. Appreciate you joining the stream, and obviously appreciate you supporting me, as always. I definitely appreciate the love. Give me 1 second here.
Deserve the love.
Thank you. Thank you. Shout out to MT for the $5 super sticker. Thank you for supporting the channel. God bless you. Appreciate you. All righty. So for those of you guys that are not familiar with Miss Epiphany here, you want to tell these fine people where they can find you, out here in these YouTube streets?
I am at Epiphany Faith Politics. You're going to get a mix of faith, politics, and a little bit of comedy to match.
Outstanding. So I'm looking forward to having this conversation. I was looking forward to it. I'm an early riser. I don't know how much you know that, but I get up. I'm up every day around 4:30 in the morning. So I get my day started. And then, right after that, I get home from the gym, I try to get back here and start working on, what I'm doing for the day. So it's this is almost an all day thing, doing this. Because once I finish this, then I start working on the videos and things of that nature that I'm gonna get into later in the day. So it's a process, man. It really is. But I think you did receive the Google Doc and all that kind of information. You got all that. All right, so let's get into it, man. So I want to get your thoughts, on a couple things, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say, about these topics. And yesterday I talked about, I don't know if you had a chance to watch the show, but yesterday we talked about Alec Baldwin and his wife and how disrespectful she was. I don't know if you had a chance to see the clip,
Yes.
but I want to pull this up real fast. Give me 1 second. Let me pull this up real quick. I want to get your thoughts, on this right here. What'd you think of Alec Baldwin's wife, just snapping on him the way she did in public? It was one of the most disrespectful things that I've seen in quite some time on TV, on the media, on social media for those to see. But check this out. I want to get your thoughts.
No, I think we're gonna see. We're gonna see how it feels to have it be out there.
It's gonna be great.
This
You're a
season-
winner.
Oh my God! When I'm talking, you're not talking. No, when I'm talking, you're not talking. This is why. Yes, we'll have to just cut him out of the show. No, I mean I think this is a really raw show, and it's very real, and we took.
I can't take anymore. What? Did I lose her? Uh-oh. Did I kick her out? I know I didn't kick her out. All right, let's see if we can get her back up. Yeah, that lady is. It seems like, a lot of these, Brian Lewis said the Jezebel spirit. Definitely that. Definitely that. Let me see if we can get Epiphany back up. We must be having some technical difficulties here. My apologies. But that clip it's definitely cringe. It's definitely cringe. You don't first off, I don't think you should disrespect anybody like that, more or less, your significant other, husband or wife. I wouldn't dare do something like that, to my wife out in public. Are you kidding? I don't even do it at home, to be honest with you. But I mean, that's just so disrespectful, and it seems like this lady, she was just so out of touch. But you can know if that is happening for everybody to see, if she was doing this out in public, there is no telling. There's no telling what she's like for real. B said they're out narcissising each other. Yeah, you may have a point there. You may have a point there. All righty. That's what it seemed like, Nina. He was definitely giving her a compliment. All right, here goes Epiphany. Let's see if she pulls. Let's see if she's ready to go. All right. Okay, I got you back. No worries.
Sorry about
Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Yes, I hear you. I got backup reinforcements this time, though. So.
All right, perfect. All righty. What are your thoughts on Alec Baldwin's wife? What were your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that the men in America all gained some empathy and sympathy for him. I mean, I think it's a lot of men out there that can relate to these, I don't want to say the word grabber women. They grab the man by the certain parts. And I mean, we see this all the time. I think it's the rise of the feminist movement that these women are out of control. But Alec Baldwin is in Hollywood, and Hollywood is the place that sanctioned and promoted and boosts these women up. So I think he's just getting a taste of what Hollywood has produced with this whole big giant push for feminism. And yeah, some people say happy wife, happy life. No, it's really happy spouse, happy house. So both parties have to be happy. You can't just grab a man by the and then think that everything is going to be great. And then to make matters worse, they went on this little campaign to try to make it look like a joke. And then she still looked like she's controlling him in that video too, where they're pretending like it's a funny joke. I think that for the people that were upset, if there were any people that were upset about him getting off on the charges, I think we see he's been sentenced. He's in punishment, in jail enough.
Yeah, he's dead. He's definitely there.
He's in jail.
He's definitely
so
there.
You don't have to worry about justice being served. He's been served.
No, not at all. Not at all. This next clip here, I know everybody's, been talking about Tesla stocks dropping, and I don't know if you knew this, but 3% of Minnesota state pension fund is invested in this company. So why does Governor Tim Walz seem to be celebrating the company's struggles? I mean, wouldn't you think that that's a conflict of interest, or is it just bad leadership? I want to share this clip, with you guys. We talked about it the other day, but it was just bad taste in my opinion, but I want to get your thoughts on it.
Saying on my phone, I don't know, some of you know this on the iPhone, they've got that little stock app. I added Tesla to it to give me a little boost during the day. 225 and dropping. So, and if you own one, we're not blaming you. You can take dental floss and pull the Tesla thing off, and take out, just telling you.
Now, I guess that's some type of town hall. He looks like he's like trying to be a comedian of some sort, but what are your thoughts on this foolishness?
Well, just give me a minute, Brother Wise. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find Tiny Tim. All right. Well, you got to think about it. You have to think about it. Tim Walz, Tiny Tim. This is the same guy that also, he said he gets a boost and a rise out of Tesla stock dropping. This is the same guy that also gets a rise and a boost out of putting tampons in the boys' bathroom. So go figure that. And also, this is the one, I feel like he stole that. If it was supposed to be quote unquote a joke, I feel like he stole it from his wife, because this is the same one whose wife said that she got pleasure out of seeing their city, Minnesota, burn during the BLM riots. So I feel like he stole that joke from her. Like, oh, I get a boost. She says she got a boost out of seeing the city burn down from BLM. Lastly, I'll say this, that Elon's cars are being burned by the progressive left. And I think that if Elon was smart, he would have his cars identify as tampons, because Tiny Tim would hide them.
I love that. Oh man. The video I did last night, it's actually starting to go crazy. I don't know how this happens, but I'll post something in the evening, and before you know it, in the morning, it really starts going crazy. But a lot of people are frustrated, upset, and perturbed with your favorite far left radicalist, Angela Rye. She said some pretty interesting things yesterday. I don't know if it was interesting, but definitely more on the race baiting side of things. This lady is, in my opinion, she's a pretty insufferable human being. But I want to pull this clip up. I want to get your take on it as, being a sister, out here, in these YouTube streets. What are your thoughts on this individual here? Give me a second. Let me pull it up here.
I don't condone violence, but I wish people would take a look in the mirror and see what's actually happening. This is not an America First company. It's a South African First company. That's what Tesla is. But this is the same party that talks about America First and make America great again, but they're giving someone unfettered access who is an immigrant. And if you leave it to this party to talk about, there's no space for immigrants.
Okay.
No. Some of us are here by force.
Some of us are lesser immigrants?
No, you're right. That's exactly what y'all think. That's exactly what y'all think.
He's a lesser immigrant?
No. What I'm saying is...
He's tainted because you're from South Africa and he's really brilliant?
You know what is so funny about that? Y'all are also the party of the birtherism movement.
Wow, he's a tainted immigrant.
No. That's what you all would have liked to say about Barack Obama.
Where do I fit? I'm Irish Lebanese. Am I like second class, or where am I?
You tell me. Ask your party.
Wow. I mean,
go wherever you want to go with this.
Well, what's really funny to me about Angela Rye, Ray, whatever you want to call her name, is that she's talking about your party, But does she not realize that she's a part of the party that held Elon Musk, that held him up, that made him the hero of the climate change, and he's going to save the planet? Does she not know that she's in that same party who was just supporting Elon not too long ago? So that's what's really interesting and funny. Angela Ray, she is nothing more than a race-baiting hustler, no different than Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, that crummy guy that's the attorney. She's no different than the rest of them. And all I want to say to Angela Ray is, well, it's a few things I want to say to her is, I think she's just mad because Elon Musk is a better African American than she is. But on top of that, I think she's just common. That's all.
I hear that. Thank you, Epiphany, for pulling up.
And you know what
we
I
gotta
mean
get you
by
back.
she's common.
I definitely got you. Some of the people.
She's
There'll be a
common.
few people there are a few people that will catch that later down the line. They might catch it tomorrow. They're like, oh, I know exactly what she's talking about.
And she's mad. She's mad because she's no longer in the common lineup.
No, she isn't. But goodness gracious, but she's an insufferable individual, man. It was hard doing that video yesterday, and just listening to this, and it's just, I don't know if you watch her podcast or I watch a lot of folks' stuff just because I do this, but it's a hard watch. I don't suggest anybody go. I'm not going to tell anybody to go and check it out. But thank you, Epiphany. Appreciate you pulling up this morning.
One last thing, Brother Wise. I want to be able to sleep at night and not have nightmares. So I would never watch her podcast. I'm sorry. So you have fun with that.
Understood. Appreciate you pulling up. Go check out Epiphany at let them know where they can find you at one more time.
Epiphany Faith Politics, or you can type in Epiphany at Epiphany Tanya or at Epiphany Faith Politics. Either way, you'll find my channel. I have some nice, again, comedy videos, commentary, faith, politics, all that good stuff. Come and join me. You won't be disappointed. Thanks so much.
Appreciate you, Epiphany. Take care.
God bless. Bye-bye.
All righty. That was Epiphany. Shout out to her for pulling up this morning, blessing the channel real fast. Appreciate you all. All right, let's keep it going, man. So let's pivot real fast. Give me 1 second here. Readjust some things. I want to pivot to something a bit different, just slightly different. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see this, but DoorDash has entered into a partnership with Klarna for deferred payments. Y'all heard me now. DoorDash has entered into a partnership with Klarna to offer deferred payments. And in case you guys, need a loan for your burrito, as if, this DoorDash thing isn't overpriced anyway, you have a overpriced food delivery service company partnering with a payment processor just in case you can't afford to pay the full $30 price for a late night Chipotle run that you ordered. Now you'll be able to pay for the meal in installments over a drawn out period of time. You can't make this stuff up, man. You cannot make this stuff up. Nina, I'll get on that. I'll definitely jump on that. But you can't make this stuff up, man. You're going to be able to go in debt for DoorDash.
Pay later firm Klarna. This one is landing and partnering up with DoorDash. In the coming months, customers will be able to use Klarna services to purchase groceries, retail, and a Dash Pass annual plan. And customers will have the option to pay for their purchases in full in 4 equal installments or defer payments to a more convenient time. Here, shares right now of DoorDash up by 1.5%.
Yeah, and I'm not proud to admit this, but I am a Dash Pass member.
Really?
Yes, I am.
How long? Member since?
Like 2 years now.
Okay, since 23.
It's a good deal. It's a good deal. But for DoorDash, this is their first buy now, pay later partnership. We've seen this shift in consumer sentiment, this decrease in consumer confidence, this expectation that we're going to have inflation elevated over the long term. And we know that a lot of consumers, they've been pretty squeezed when you go to the grocery store. So the fact that we're seeing this buy now, pay later partnership for DoorDash, I think could be a positive, hence the share uptick that we're seeing today. But this is also coming ahead of Klarna's expected IPO. And I think just partnering with, more of a sexy name like DoorDash, a name that people know and recognize, that could potentially get some retail investors on board to potentially invest in this stock. And this comes just a couple days after they partnered with Walmart. And Walmart had a previous partnership with Affirm, which was a Klarna competitor. So right now, Klarna is just wheeling and dealing ahead of this IPO.
Yeah, they certainly are trying to at least show to the street that they have a lot of power to throw around within this buy now, pay later landscape, and with some of the biggest retail partners that are out there for many consumers. For Walmart, within a 10-mile radius of 90% of America, and then for DoorDash, used by Ali Canal.
Used by me, and I do think it gives you some good deals depending on how often you use it. But I'm trying to cut back. I'm trying to cook my own food.
Look,
it's hard in the city. Sometimes you're busy and you just got to order that chicken parm.
Yeah, they got me hooked.
Oh, wow. I mean, I shouldn't laugh at the people that are going to use this service. I really shouldn't. But the fact that this lady had the nerve to say, yeah, going to the grocery store is putting you in a squeeze. DoorDash is expensive as all get out. You're basically going to pay twice the amount of money for the same exact meal had you have got your butt off the couch and went and bought it your daggone self. It is much cheaper to go to the grocery store, do your own shopping, and cook at home. I mean, come on, man. What are we doing? What are we doing in this country? Imagine taking out a loan to order DoorDash. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Affirm is already a part of this, which they offer something very similar, a similar style service. So I guess, Klarna is just getting involved. But, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. But if you need a loan to pay for McDonald's delivery, maybe it's time to rethink some choices. Seriously. It also really goes to show, how overpriced these services are, because when you add the price of food, the tax, the tip, all the extra fees, you end up paying way more than if you just wouldn't pick the daggone meal up yourself or just dined in person. It's like 2 or maybe 2.5 times. And Lord forbid you don't drop a tip. Lord forbid you don't put a tip on there. How many videos have we seen out there of people losing their minds because they didn't receive a tip? How many of these videos have we seen? There was a video that I had watched, I don't know, it was a couple weeks back or so, where a lady wrote a nasty gram because the lady didn't leave her a tip inside the app, but actually was going to give her a tip cash when they pulled up. Oh my goodness, man. And the crazy thing is that you have people that are in support of this madness, claiming that this is needed for those with disabilities or others who depend on delivery services. I mean, either way, this is pretty ridiculous in my opinion. And I think it's a symptom of the economic mess Biden left behind. And I mean, look at the economy right now. I mean, it's not doing too hot either. It isn't. But we gotta let the man cook for a second. Things might get worse or stay the same before they get better. The point of these tariffs is to bring jobs back to America, boost manufacturing, lower dependency on foreign supply chains, and lower cost eventually. And then you got Doge, slashing wasteful spending and, which adds to inflation. And what I'm trying to say is that we should just wait a bit to see what turns the economy takes. But things like this, Things like this where you need to finance a DoorDash order, I mean, it's not great, man. This is a sign of total economic distress. And the left, for whatever reason, they're cheering this on as a flexibility for the poor. I just don't understand these people. I mean, think about this, man. All it does is enable debt addiction. So I'm begging you guys, man, don't do this. Don't do this. Seriously. If you got to take a loan out to get food delivered, just head down to the local corner store, man. I'm sure a lot of us live close enough that even if you don't have a car, you can walk to go pick you up something. Just head down, man, to the local restaurant. You know, to be honest with you, man, cook your daggone self. And they were talking about all the disabled people. I know here in Maryland, they have these MTA buses and things of that nature that they can essentially get on for free that will pretty much take them where they need to get to. And they have people that can buy groceries for them, cook at the house. Don't get stuck, on this slippery slope. How much more different is this than, some predatory payday loan? Seriously. Now, we live in a country right now, if I'm not mistaken, 80, 85%, maybe close to 90% of people don't have $1,000 in their savings account for an emergency. 55, 60, 65% of people don't have $400 in their bank account for an emergency. But we're going to allow people to take a loan out for a DoorDash order, 40, 50 bucks, we'll pay it out over 4 months or so. I mean, this is crazy. This is crazy. This makes absolutely no sense, man. I just do not understand this, man. And I'm somebody that I've used DoorDash in the past. I don't use it often because it's just too daggone expensive. It's too daggone expensive. It really is. It's just too expensive. Something that would cost you, if you got in a car and drove, something that would cost you 10 bucks, you're going to pay 30 bucks for 2-3 times. Man, I don't understand that. I really don't. This is, man, it just seems like they allow. Now I get it. People, they're adults. You have the right to make your own decision with your finances. Do what you want to do. Do what you want to do. But Renee, Suzanne, you're absolutely right. Taking on debt for delivery is just not wise. It is not. It is not. And I get it. You're an adult. People have to take some accountability for themselves. But this just doesn't seem like a smart usage of your money. Seriously. You'd be better off catching an Uber to the grocery store, buying all the groceries you need, and eating right at the house. It'd be so much cheaper. Even with the cost of groceries that, have gone up, it's still cheaper. I mean, this is a slippery slope. And how many young people are going to find themselves, when you don't pay it over the 2, 3, 4 months that you get interest free, how many people are going to be paying, for a DoorDash delivery 7, 8 months down the line, and before you know it, you done paid 3, 4 times for the same meal, 5 times for the same meal. I'm a huge proponent of eating right here at the house. And financially, I've been doing okay. But we try to be super frugal, no car payments and things of that nature. Try to be super frugal. Try to be. And I don't see anything wrong with, going out and splurging from time to time. But I mean, and Diane, you're absolutely right. It's another way of control. You're right. Keep you in debt. The word says the borrower is enslaved to the lender. This is another way to keep you enslaved. And speaking of a slippery slope, what the heck happened to Bill Burr? Seriously. What happened to Bill Burr? Seriously, I want to know. This dude, I actually used to like Bill Burr back in the day. I don't know what has happened to this guy.
And then like a few years later, this guy Sieg Heil twice.
Two of them.
Once in the front, if you missed it in the back. And it's just like, he still has a job. That guy still has a job. I don't understand those guys. And this isn't politically. It's just like, I don't understand why they're so upset with this country. It's like, you're billionaires. I think it's working for you. Like, why are you going and telling everybody, justify what you do? It's like, fucking justify what you do. That piece of shit car that you're making that the government financed. No?
But you know what you just said? You said that Elon still has a job. He's the richest man in the world. There's nothing they can do to him. And that's all he proved. There's nothing anybody can do to him by throwing up when he did that. What do you take from him? He's not Kyrie Irving. He's not Kanye. Like, what do you do?
Yeah, but you keep, I don't know. Listen, I don't know how this shit works. I'm just saying that, if you said the wrong thing as a comedian, all of a sudden you lost your TV
But
show.
you're not the richest man in the world. If you was the richest comedian in the world, ever.
What I don't get,
Imagine Bill Burr
what
with
I
Elon
don't
Musk
get
money.
is the amount of veterans that people in the armed services that died trying to stop Hitler. And then this guy comes in, and does that. While being an immigrant, too, which is kind of the whole thing, just none of it like tracks how you can be the support the troops, America, love it or leave it. And then this guy comes in and gives a shout out to Hitler.
Makes no sense at all.
Yeah, it doesn't. So I don't know. But then somehow that gets like politicized. I'm not trashing Republicans. All Republicans did not Sieg Heil. That guy did. And I was just amazed that all liberals had was one day of outrage. And they're like, all right, I guess that didn't work. And then we just kind of move on.
Because they realize they can't do anything to him. Like, what do you do other than send out some angry tweets?
Why do they always resort right back to calling people Nazis who clearly aren't? I don't understand it. This doesn't seem natural. This seems forced. That's what it seems like. I mean, we've officially reached the point where Bill Burr has gone full-fledged TDS orange man bad. I mean, he seems to be suffering from a severe case of not only Trump derangement syndrome, but also of Elon derangement syndrome. I mean, this guy who used to mock cancel culture and virtue signaling is now out here throwing tantrums about Elon Musk and Trump yelling "Free Luigi" and saying things that would have got him canceled a few years ago honestly, by himself. But this guy has lost it, man. This guy's lost it.
Anytime you want to say somebody's evil, you just say he is the next Hitler. Donald Trump, he's the next Hitler. It's always he's the next Hitler. He died 75 fucking years ago? Nothing quiets a room like dropping the H-bomb. This guy Sieg Heil twice. Veterans that people in the armed services that died trying to stop Hitler. And then this guy comes in, and does that while being an immigrant, too, which is kind of the whole thing. Just none of it like tracks how you can be the support the troops, America, love it or leave it. And then this guy comes in and gives a shout out to Hitler.
Oh, man. Sorry about the language, man. But, oh, man. This guy, man. This guy. I remember the old Bill Burr. The old Bill Burr. The one who stood on stage roasting extreme feminism, calling out the hypocrisy, saying the things that, people were thinking but didn't dare say it in public. What happened to this guy, man? What happened to him? Now we got Bill Burr, the same guy who used to mock people for comparing everyone to Hitler. He's going on stage doing just that. He's going on stage doing just that. I mean, this just doesn't happen overnight, though. I mean, Bill's been changing. At first, it was subtle, a few jokes softened, a little pandering here and there. But lately, it's like this dude's been handed a script straight from MSDNC. I mean, he's suddenly raging about Trump. He's bashing Elon Musk, not with jokes, but with the same tired talking points that you would hear from a political Twitter account, with 12 followers and a Ukraine flag in the daggone bio. I mean, he went on The View the other day, which that in itself tells you everything that you need to know about this guy at this point. He goes on to The View, after, comparing Elon to Hitler. And this time he went from Elon's a dictator to Elon's a nerd who can't talk good, looking, oh my gosh, dude, this guy has lost it. His wife obviously basically chopped his cojones off and they're in her purse now. Serious.
Time when I just feel like someone needs to bring the boiling water down to a simmer, and everybody on both sides, like if you watch CNN, Fox, you go online, or you listen to politicians, it's all and then you walk out on the street and someone's like, hey, how you doing? You're like, good. So I don't think they're living in like a reality.
But is there anybody getting your ire up these days more than usual?
Nerds.
Yeah.
The nerds that own the politician, all these tech nerds that want to build robots because they don't know how to talk to hot women, they're gonna take over the world. They're gonna take over. They are literally gonna replace us. We're like beta right now, and they're coming out with like the VCR. And I think Elon has got the rockets going because they realize there's other Earths out there, and they're gonna trash this one, and because they don't have any concern for it, and they're gonna move on to the next Earth. And, everybody's gonna be standing down here with your blue and red ties going, wait a minute, I was on your side, and they're just gonna leave.
Well, you were talking about death, and you're sad. Do they not realize that they're going to die, these people? They don't realize that eventually
I always
everybody
wondered
dies.
that about all religions, where they always talk about a wrathful God and, will send you to hell. And it's like, none of you guys are operating like you fear this, the way you run your religion.
That's right.
So I don't get I don't understand any of that. I'm just trying to be like chill. Somebody holds the door. Hey, thank you.
Oh, man. I don't think that Elon has a problem talking to women, to be honest with you. As Dr. Kyla said, I believe he has his 9+ kids. I think he has a little more than that, to be honest with you. I think he has well over 9. But, I mean, here's the tolerant left again. Always mocking anyone that's different from them. If you don't agree with them lockstep, you're playing to get mocked. And then this guy comes out here, he mocks God as well. I mean, make it make sense, man. Seriously. I just don't understand it. But, all they do is cater to, maybe 10% of the population, to a few of the loud radicals out there. That's all they do. And here's the thing. I get it, man. Comedians, they evolve, styles change, but there's a difference between growth and just complete selling out. This guy sold out. Bill Burr was never truly anti-woke. I mean, it seems like he just played the part, of the fed up regular dude, the everyman, the guy calling out the absurdity of it all. And now he's going full-blown Hollywood, man. Full-blown mainstream, full-blown establishment. I mean, this dude has bent over and kissed the ring. Bill Burr, we will see in a dress in the very near future. If it hasn't happened already. Who knows what deal this guy has struck or what sort of advice, he's received from his publicist. I mean, look, man, maybe this is who he's always been. And, the old Bill Burr that a lot of folks, knew and loved, maybe that guy was the grifter. Maybe the jokes, about extreme feminism, and the woke mob, it was just good business at the time. Maybe he always had one foot in the world, and now he's just going all into that world. But whatever the reason, man, Burr's latest comedy special is more political diatribe than stand-up. He tried to pull a Dave Chappelle. It just didn't. He didn't stick the landing. I mean, the bottom line is funny is funny. You don't care who you are, left, right, center, gay, straight, black, white, purple. If it's funny, it's funny. I'm going to laugh. But this dude's not funny. It's preachy, it's safe. And worst of all, I mean, it was boring. Nobody wants to go to a comedy show and be told what to think, how to think, who they should support. Nobody wants to do that, man. Nobody's interested in that. Nobody wants to pay to hear another celebrity call Elon Musk a Nazi or Donald Trump Hitler 2.0. Nobody wants to pay for that. And yes, some people are speculating that his wife's influence has played a role, and it wouldn't surprise me if it has, because she did flip off President Trump at a UFC event. You guys recall that, right? You guys recall when she did that, right? Yeah, she did. Yeah, that's his wife. So I guess you're either, gonna bend the knee to the liberal, far left, progressive, woke left, or you probably can't be in a relationship with a woman who would do something like this. You probably can't. I mean, this is the kind of behavior that doesn't exactly scream, I live with a politically neutral comic. It just doesn't. I used to think that Bill Burr was different, man. I genuinely did. I did. He wasn't afraid to call out the nonsense from both sides. He seemed like a real dude. No fluff, no filter, none of the fakeness. But now, I mean, this dude has gone full-fledged Hollywood mainstream, and the mainstream comes with strings attached. You get a big Netflix deal, and you lose the edge. You pander, you posture, you got to toe the line and play a game. And soon enough, you're going to be doing stand-up in a daggone dress and making the PR rounds on MSDNC. You can almost count on it. It's almost like there's a blueprint to this Hollywood thing, right? Somebody in the chat let me know. Has Bill Burr played a role or been in some skit or something like that where he's had to put a dress on? Does anybody know? I haven't seen it yet, but has anybody seen that yet? And if it hasn't happened, it is coming. If it hasn't happened already, you can count on the fact that maybe he's going to play in Tu Wong Fu Part 2 or something. Oh, he has? Renee, he has? Oh, man, if somebody can find the link, man, and put that in the chat so we can show that today. Let me see if I can pull it up my daggone self. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, man. Let me see if I can pull it up. If it's out there, X has to have it. Let me check. Nah, I can't see. I can't find anything. Maybe it hasn't happened yet. Maybe it hasn't happened yet, but if it hasn't happened yet, you can count on it that it's coming. That will be next. What is that movie that came out back in the day? Was that Tu Wong Fu or something along those lines from back in the day? Nah, I can't find it. I can't find it. So maybe it hasn't happened yet. Everybody that has been in the dress, you can look them up and you'll find it. Remember, they got Kevin Hart. They got Kevin Hart. They got him. If it hasn't happened yet, it's gonna happen. Oh my gosh. Daggone shame, man. Daggone shame. But I appreciate you guys pulling up, man. I hope you guys enjoy the weekend. Hope you guys have a great weekend, man. I appreciate you all pulling up. Shout out to Epiphany. I believe Zephyr K9 did drop a link to her page in the chat. And I got to do a better job. When I have guests come on, if I can have their information, I'll try to have it, ready to go. I did have the Cycle of Judges podcast when they came up, but I'll try to do better, at making sure that you guys know how to find the people when I bring guests on. But yeah, go check out Epiphany, man. And appreciate her pulling up today, adding to the stream this morning. Shout out to you all. Appreciate the ARP family. Appreciate you all pulling up. Shout out to all the Blues, Renee, Suzanne, Zephyr K9, B. I believe I seen T.A. Caskey up in here earlier today. I appreciate you all as well. Shout out to everybody that supported the channel financially this morning. I definitely appreciate it. I'm humble and, I do not take it for granted at all. And, we'll see you guys live next week, Monday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, Lord willing. Appreciate the love, man. Keep God first, man. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you all. Peace.
Vibes so raw, can't hide the truth. Words so sharp,